we have to be able to, we achieve greatness. And so combating that imposter syndrome is huge. Here's some other things, and I want some of your help. Like I said, on this one, like we did before. Can someone read this quote out loud for me? Just go ahead, it doesn't matter. You want to read that out loud for me? Go for it, Aziz.
It would make sense that it would be easier for you to get into PA school due to affirmative action.
Has anybody seen Friday? That's the scene I thought. I was like, damn. Oh my gosh, affirmative action. Who knows what affirmative action is? Anybody know what affirmative action is? Do you know, as a student, this is a student told me this. As we were walking out of a lecture hall, it was probably an anatomy lecture hall, knowing that, honestly. Walking out of a lecture hall, it would make sense that it'd be easy for you to get into PA school because of affirmative action. You know what that told me? Wow, it doesn't matter that you got thousands of hours of experience in your field. You're gonna get into PA school simply for the fact that you're a Black male. Oh, it doesn't matter that you have volunteered and worked with those that speak different languages. You're gonna get into PA school because we just don't have enough people that look like you. Oh, we don't let people, we're not gonna simply take you because you're qualified, but you are qualified because of the color of your skin. Really? Wow, I didn't realize that. Interesting, because being a minority attempting to, become something in a difficult STEM field is not enough. It's simply the color of my skin of which defines my qualification, not the work that I do in the body that I'm standing in right now. That was from a student. Can someone else read this? This came from an advisor. Can someone else read this for me? I know I'm making y'all do a lot of work. Go for it, Becky. That's my girl, Becky.
So what's your GPA? Oh, well, unfortunately, GUS is critically looking at individuals with a 3.8 GPA. Have you considered pre-med?
So imagine you are a junior pre-PA student studying this now for 3 years, and all of a sudden an advisor tells you to on a flip of a switch, change what you're focusing. Flip of a switch. Interesting. And kind of revisiting just for a moment, the conversation that occurred before this, it's actually funny. Before I even had, this is the second conversation we had where this person flipped the switch on me and told me that my GPA was not considered well enough to be considered competitive. And before this, the advisor spoke with me and said, you won't have a problem getting into PA school. There's an obvious reason as to that. And I said, oh my God, like, what is it? I'm over here taking notes. I got my notepad, my pen going. I was like, well, what is it? Why is it that everyone else is stressing. So why is it I don't have to stress? Please tell me, because I'm panicking. Imposter syndrome, right? I'm panicking. What is it? Why is it easy for me? She goes, well, look at you. You're a Black male. Oh my goodness. After 21 years, I didn't even know. It was like new to me. Hello? Really? Right? Affirmative action. I'm a Black. Why is it that makes me, why is that the sole qualification? That is what I had to continuously fight in my head. I am more than that. But everyone around me in my environment kept telling me that. So I had to put on a mask to pretend like that didn't hurt me. And that was a lot for me. That took a lot out of me. And it came from an advisor. It took a lot. Let's revisit my story about my failed anatomy exam. Same story, more details. I walked in the room. I sat down. Oh, I got the notification. Pulled out my phone. Grade updated, checked, failed. This continued to be a challenge for me, on top of the fact that I was struggling in my social environment. I didn't know where to go. My roommate situation wasn't too hot, and I was still trying to figure out where I belong in terms of my friend group. I didn't have a steady friend group. I had to kind of move around a bit because I wanted to really find those people that we were gonna help each other. We were gonna become each other's network. We were gonna help motivate each other and take each other to that next step. But I didn't know that. I'm still that imposter. I didn't know where I belonged. I also lost my grandfather, which was a huge hit on me. My grandfather was one of the only people who told me, no matter what, if you continue to stand, you will make it. No matter what, if you continue to stand, you'll make it. Losing him, that for me was a hit. I had to constantly ask myself, what is going on? I'm failing exams. Now I'm losing the people that are really important in my life, those that I actually consider my people. I lost that. Down spiral, down spiral, down spiral, down spiral. The rock is continuing to fall, and now I'm ready to quit. I'm done. At this point, I've hit rock, that term, I saw someone write it, rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom. I made a phone call. Here we go, ready? Made a phone call. Mom, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. I'm over it. I absolutely cannot. I'm about to change my major. I've already made an appointment. I made an appointment to change my major because I was sick of it. I was done. I was about to quit. Absolutely. No more. And then she said something to me. I remember sitting at that desk and I was, of course, I'm crying. I'm annoyed. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to just change my major and be done with it because I just don't think I can do this. I can't do this. I told myself that. And then she said something to me. And that's what she said. Trey, sometimes you have to reanalyze your inventory. And I said, what does that mean? Reanalyze your inventory, like you over here speaking metaphors, and I don't understand, Mom, tell me straight up, what are you trying to say? Sometimes you have to reanalyze your inventory. What she meant when she said that, she saw everything I was going through. She heard, I was telling her everything I was going through. I felt like an imposter. I was being challenged in my social environment. I didn't know if I fit in. She told me that I need to take the tools and skills that I needed, and I needed to find a way to input them for myself and build myself a new inventory, a new skill set. You have to get rid of the old, here's a phrase, get rid of the old, and what is it, in with the new, out with the old, in with the new. That's what she was telling me. Start finding the tools and skills that are gonna help you. Start finding the people around you that are gonna help you and that you can help them. Start moving around, start navigating your surroundings, start finding what's gonna help you. That's what I had to take with me. We talked about success. Now we're into navigation. This is the point. That was when she said reanalyze your inventory. I was like, I have to change everything right now. I have to go back step, look at my situation, and navigate where I'm at right now. And that is where mentorship and finding help came into play. Those are words of power. I need help. 3 words. I need help. Words of power that mattered to me because I was scared. And I know, how many of you ever feel like, you're in a classroom and you're afraid to raise your hand because it might be a stupid question? Does anybody ever feel that way? I know I feel that way every single time. I was just coming out of a class where I felt that way, that my question might not be looked at as a strong enough question as my peer was asking, comparing myself, right? We have to ask for help. Once again, I'm surrounded by wonderful, beautiful leaders right now. And I know as a leader myself, I struggle with that because I'm like, I should know this answer. I should know this. I can't ask this type of question. I should know it already. No, that is okay. Ask for help and don't do it when you're already drowning. Don't wait that long, I should say, until when you're already drowning, when you're already, your entire body's already in the water. Do it when you put your foot in, it's a little too cold for you. That's when you should start asking for help. Don't wait. Because when we wait, we get to this point. We get to the point where I failed that anatomy exam because I didn't ask for help. When I was feeling like I was putting on a mask, I didn't ask for help. I didn't ask because I didn't know who to ask. Try something different. I'm the type of person, completely honest. I will try something 5,000 times, and on the 5,001th time, I will expect a different result. It doesn't work that way. We have to try something. If the first thing wasn't going to work, trying it 5,000 more times won't work either. Try something new. Navigate the F word. You notice that didn't work for you. You failed trying that. Try something different. Embrace that experience and make it a successful moment. That's what we have to do. One of the biggest things that I took away, not only from Cook Leadership Academy throughout my time, but just GVSU, was finding a mentor and engaging in mentorship. I needed someone who looked like me, who shared an identity as me, that had similar experiences as me, that I could learn from. And that is what I did. I found a mentor going through my academic advisor. I was just talking to her one day, signing up for classes, and I told her about my concerns. I said, I'm at the point where I need help. Words of power, I need help. And I said, I need to find someone, preferably a Black male PA, who knows what I'm going through, that can help me get out of whatever I'm in right now, because I'm sinking and I need help. I found someone. He worked for the African American Grand Rapids Health Institute. He was the director, and he connected with me, and he helped pull me out of whatever rut I was in. And all I had to do was email him and say, I need your help. Please help me. And he did. I found him. He's a Black male PA currently practicing, and he's also a leader. He helped me with my personal statement that I wrote for PA school applications. He helped me with personal journey tools and just like what it's like to be a Black male in society right now, living in Grand Rapids, going to GV, things like that. And he helped me with all sorts of important aspects of what it's like to be a young student. And on top of that, he showed me my worth. Do y'all know how much worth you have? How important you are as an individual? I'm not just talking as a group. As a group, you are all amazing. But how important you are as an individual. You have worth. And he helped show me that. These are your strengths. Embrace your strengths. You are qualified, and it's above the color of your skin. It's just simply for the fact that you have what it takes to be here. And it doesn't have to do with the numbers, simply the GPA or the grade that you received on an exam that you're not even going to be thinking about a few years later. He helped me understand that. As I continued on, I joined Cook Leadership Academy and I found another mentor. Her name is Megan. She is amazing. She's a child life specialist who works with U of M Health West, and she is absolutely awesome. She helped me find similar things as well as advancing my personal network. But one of the biggest takeaways that I got out of our countless conversations, she emphasized my strengths and weaknesses. Now, that's something that I feel like I personally take for granted. I know my strengths and weaknesses. Okay, that's nice. But I'm the type of person, and I don't know if some of you have ever felt the same way, where sometimes I look at a weakness and I go way too far down that path. Oh my goodness, you're not good at public speaking? Let me sit over here for a second. Oh my goodness, I'm not good at exam taking. I'm gonna keep moving all the way until you're over in the negative. You're forgetting about the positive. There's so many things you've accomplished because we forgot that you're still surviving. We forgot you're still standing. We forgot you're still here. We forgot we've made it through COVID. We forgot we're able to still be in school right now, even though literally the world is changing as we speak right now. We forgot all that stuff. That in itself is an accomplishment. We don't think about any of that. We don't think about resiliency, adaptability, evolution of our own character. No, we're still so stuck on the negatives because we failed one exam. Interesting. She helped me understand and emphasize my strengths and weaknesses and make sure that when I was writing things like my personal statement, she was like, bold that, that's important. You did that, you volunteered, you helped out, you experienced what it's like to lose a loved one. That was important, that was a value you could take away. With that being said, I had other mentors and career advisors that also helped me expand my network. Use LinkedIn, which is a great resource to help expand and go further. All of those things help me stand here before you and talk about this. Once again, we cannot succeed, we cannot navigate, and we cannot grow without failure. I was making this presentation and I was practicing with some other of my fellow leads, as well as those presenting for Leader Lab's beautiful presentations before me. And I wrote something in my presentation, and I'll be completely vulnerable and honest. I wrote that before I crossed it out. I wrote, everything happens for a reason. And I wrote it, not even thinking, which is one of those cliche things I just said out loud. And someone stopped me and said, actually, that's kind of bull. And I was like, whoa. I was like, what do you mean? And they told me that, well, what happens when life just happens? And I said, wow, that's deep. Explain, keep going. What do you mean? And they told me that let's say you get into a life-changing accident and you're paralyzed, spine down. Was there a reason for that? Was there a reason that happened to me? Is there a certain is there a reason why I am in this state now? And so I thought about that and I changed what I said. And I just changed it to everything just happens. You get a choice. If we want to correlate that with a reason and we want to embrace that experience, we absolutely can. But to acknowledge that life just happens and that we just go through stuff and that sometimes crap is crap, that is absolutely okay too. And that also helps us embrace our own experiences. Either one is fine. So I said, everything just happens, but our experiences are going to shape who we are. And that is what makes us leaders. Leaders lead based on experience. We don't just wake up as newborns coming out the womb talking about competencies through CLA. We have to learn and we have to develop. That is what we experience. That's what we experience over time. All these things help me embrace my own inner failure. And at first I was afraid of it. But now I thank everyone around me and everything that has happened to me that has led me through the most difficult times of both my life and my academic journey. Everything I've gone through for me has happened to lead to this moment where I can stand before you now. So I want to go back as we're wrapping things up here and go back over a few key important pieces that I missed when I talked about when I failed that freaking anatomy exam. I told you, I failed the exam. I walked in, I got to my room, I took my phone out, I got the notification, grade updated. I looked, I said, dang it, I failed. I failed the anatomy exam. What I didn't tell you is that because I failed that anatomy exam, I strengthened my personal inventory and re-equipped myself with tools and skills necessary to keep moving forward. I found out what I did wrong and I fixed it. And I said, I'm not gonna let myself feel that way again. I'm not gonna keep doing that again because that didn't feel so hot. I'm gonna fix it. I feared, I failed, I succeeded. Because you know what? I look back into the person who told me I would only get in because of affirmative action. I look back and I look at the person that told me that I should consider pre-med. But I really look at those two faces. I look at those two people in my head dead in front of me right now. And I stand in front of you and say that I was one of 63 people accepted into the class of 2024 Rosalind Franklin PA program. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Because I didn't let that define me. Absolutely not. And I encourage you, as you are continuing your leadership journey, your overall journey, and I empower you, right? That's what we're talking about, to overcome your fear of failure. Without that moment, I would not be here right now. I wouldn't be able to tell you that right now. It is because of those two. Actually, I thank them for that because that helped me know. I feared, I failed, I succeeded. When I failed that exam, I told you I felt isolated. But because of that isolation, I found a vast network of those who would help me achieve what I needed and to elevate, as well as me helping them elevate. I found a network and a social circle. I joined things like Euphoria Acapella, Cook Leadership Academy, GVSU Theater Performances. I'm an RA, I've President's Ball, MC, Black male scholars, mentors. I'm a mentor, I've mentored, mentees. I've gotten opportunities, and all of you do as well. You all have gone from a point of start to where you are now. You should be proud of yourselves. This is why we fail exams. This is why we fail, so that we can learn, grow, and we can achieve greatness by navigating our new playfield. That's what we have. That is how we grow through leadership. That is how we overcome our F word. I feared, I failed, I succeeded. So I leave you with this concluding thought. Failure is adversity, and adversity is diversity. Everything you go through gives you a unique experience that you can take away. It's unique to you, not anyone else. It's unique to you as an individual. And that is what's important. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It is unique to you. You can never forget that. It's okay to fall. My mom used to always say something silly. I was an idiot when I was a kid. I used to do such stupid stuff. And I would make her mad or something. And she'd be like, Trey, I just need to be mad for 10 minutes. I'm like, that's it. I just bought a KFC sandwich with aluminum foil and I put that in the microwave and it could have blew up this whole house and you only need 10 minutes? Wow. But she was serious because 10 minutes later, she was done. She was over it. And I was like, wow, when I fail, I let myself fall to my butt for 10 minutes. But after that 10 minutes, I'm about to get back up. I cannot stay down on that ground any longer. I have to keep walking forward towards the positive. I will not let myself backtrack. I can't do that. I've come too far. You've come too far. Keep moving forward. Embrace your experience. Everything you've gone through has led you here now. Embrace it. Embrace those failures. And remember that you are your own worst enemy. You. Tell that enemy to shut the hell up. I'm just going to say it right there. Excuse my language, but tell it to shut up. And tell it that you know the F word. Because you know how to overcome your failures in order to make who you are today. You would not be here without those failures. So I encourage everyone out there to go out and fail an exam or not. But I do encourage you all to not be afraid to fail through your passion. That's okay. That the fact that you're still here, that you've rerouted yourself or that you make changes exemplifies everything I've talked about previously. You are strong. You are important. We cannot we cannot succeed. Oh, goodness. We cannot succeed without growth, navigation that leads us to success. And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have, I'm not sure how much time we have. Okay, does anybody have questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
So from through your failure, one of the things that I saw and I noticed through the presentation is you allowed your authenticity to drip into your academia and like that career.
Mhm.
Could you explain to us how you did that and when was kind of like at the defining moment where you were like, okay, this me being myself within my career and my field is what's going to allow me to enjoy this journey.
Absolutely. And I really like how you spoke about the word enjoyment. And I think that's really important. When I was going through my undergrad, as I'm still going through my undergrad, I go back to the idea of embracing my own experience. In the moment, I made mistakes. I failed, like you pointed out. And I refused to not remember the big picture. Every single time I made a mistake, I had to remember, what is it I'm shooting for? What is it I'm trying to achieve? That big picture for me was the PA goal. It was to be a mentor. It was to be a leader. I had to always remember that as I was continuing throughout my academic journey. So I let every single thing drip into it. If it was a failure, something to succeed from, I took a learning lesson out of everything, applied that, and just kept pushing forward because I knew no matter what happens, I'm about to make it to this big picture goal. So absolutely. Yeah.
I just want to know how many R's are in nervous now.
Oh, yeah. Probably, we'll keep it to maybe 2. It was like 7 there earlier. Any other questions? Yes.
Do you public speak like anywhere?
No, not really.
You're so good at it.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Like, so good, so motivating. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Because you said you were afraid of it.
Yes.
I wonder, you do well at it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Any other questions?
Well, if you
Okay,
want to move
yeah.
along to the
Yes.
I don't know if you're willing to kind of facilitate that.
Of course.
with a large group.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want us to consider a few questions that I came up with throughout my presentation. And thank you all for your questions. Thank you all for just being here and listening to my presentation. I really appreciate it. So I have some discussions we can discuss as a large group. For the first one, I want us to think of a time when you experienced failure. How did this shape you as a person? And then what changes, if any, did you make? Take a couple of seconds to think about that. And I would love to hear from you. Yeah, Cam.
So right after I graduated with my undergrad, 2016, I started working for GDSU and I decided that I wanted to get into occupational therapy.
Mhm.
So I took a bunch of the classes to attempt to get into the program, the master's program, and I applied. I got into the program, but I was one of the extra people. So, because they only have so many.
Right.
So after that happened, I felt really terrible because I put in all this 2 years worth of work to get into the program and I didn't make it. So instead of just kind of wallowing in that, I just pivoted and I said, well, if I can't get in now and I have to wait another year to apply, I'm just going to apply to a different master's program. that
Absolutely.
I would make an impact in, and I did. And
Absolutely.
that's what led me to where I am now.
Thank you so much. Wow.
The changes I make is if you fail, just pivot.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was powerful. Thank you. Resiliency for sure. And just being able to, like you said, pivot and the idea if that's not going to work, fine. I'm going to figure out where I can make an impact at. Absolutely. Anybody else want to share? Space for number 1? Yes, Becky.
I feel a lot. I do a lot sometimes, and especially when you have peaks and valleys of it. But I think the biggest thing for me was realizing that failure is more about how failure and success are typically defined by people around you, not really yourself. It's just what people tell you.
Absolutely.
So I kind of quit listening and said no, I was proud of that, or I accepted yeah, that's the best I can do at that time. So just kind of if someone had input, yeah, I'm happy they're trying to help, but also understanding that it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Turning off that switch, just no, negative thoughts. No. I saw one more hand back here for number 1. Yeah.
Part of the question recently I was in a scripting class and I had to drop it and move to a part-time student. The reason that's been kind of troubling is because that's I want to be a scriptwriter after college is career, and so it's if I can't do one scriptwriting class, what am I going to do with the future? And so it's I feel I'm still in the on the floor part of the bell curve.
Absolutely.
Part about that. And so I'm how do you figure out, I don't know, how do you figure out where to go?
Absolutely. That is, first of all, thank you for commenting and thank you for bringing up your experience and being vulnerable with us right now. And I have to let you know that there have been moments, I said 10 minutes, but there have been some times where I had to take 10 minutes to like maybe a couple of days. You know, I had to kind of feel that for a second. Let me ask you something. Are you passionate about your craft? Absolutely. 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 That comes from passion. Something you want. And this is like, once again, a cliche, but something, whatever you want is something you're going to get. If you want it, you're going to get it. If that means that you have to take a break or that you have to, remove there was a barrier in front of you, you have to move around that for a minute. In this case, maybe removing the class, that's okay. But what's important is the next time when you're ready, when you feel ready for that moment where you're like, I'm about to go at it, I'm going to put all of your energy into that. And that is the moment where you're going to succeed. That's your adversity. That's your diversity. That way you have a story because there's another person out there that's going through the exact same thing you are. And they're like, I don't know, I'm getting ready to drop this class, I'm not sure. And then you can be like, I went through exactly what you went through. Let me tell you how I can do that. You are going to be a part of someone else's story. So just remember that you have an impact and remember your passion for sure. Definitely. I want to go to question 2. What does empowerment mean to you? I know we kind of talked about that a little bit. Maybe we can get like, I don't know, like a reflection after we've already listened to both this presentation and our exercise. Maybe one comment about what empowerment like just means to you. If someone wants to share out, maybe. Yeah, go for it.
When I think of empowerment, like the first thing that comes to mind is when I'm going into something and like you have this feeling kind of in your gut, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like going up and it feels like good.
Yes.
The opposite of like when you like mess something up
Mhm.
and like your gut just sinks.
Yeah,
It's the exact opposite of that. And like that physical part of it is just so important to me.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I agree. I get those feelings for sure. It's like, ooh, I'm passionate, right? Using that word passion again. Yeah, Sam.
I think it's like one half, like how we talk about inspiring others, helping others. I mean, like the presentation today, right? Like it's what I need today. Like it makes me so empowered, but it's also being like from the empowerer's perspective, like having some constructive criticism, helping the person, being real with the person, not being like, oh yeah, but actually saying, like you said, you failed today. You can do better, and this is how, and like actually helping them achieve what
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing that. Number 3 says, is there a figure, a mentor, or a significant individual in your life who has helped in developing your character? Maybe someone wants to touch on that and explain maybe how someone in their life has helped them accomplish this feeling of empowerment or help them, come out of a situation where they may have failed. Anyone want to touch on that one? Yeah, for sure.
I'd say, like I always share, I'm a mom.
Mhm.
So I'd say probably my daughter, because as a mom, like I want to be better
Mhm.
than failure. And I don't want her to, because kids are so like, pick up on so much, they're like sponges. And,
Elastic, yeah.
so I don't want that like failure to ever define who I am, because I don't want it to ever define who she is.
Absolutely.
And I do have like mentors and stuff in my life through here and another student organization and professors and stuff that have been really helpful, especially as a non-traditional student, like somebody who's
Absolutely.
coming back after graduating a long time ago. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my gosh. Yes, your daughter has a wonderful role model to look up to.
I appreciate that.
Of course. All right. Yes, in the back there.
My research mentor met me when I had just dropped out of the engineering college here. So I was in a very like funky position when we met, and like ever since then, like as we've worked over the past 2 years, like we've both grown together kind of, which has been really nice. And he's just like one of the most uplifting people. Like I'll go to his office and be like on the verge of tears. And he's like, whoa, it's okay, like
Yeah.
chill out and everything. It's just nice.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. And as we move into our last discussion question, what tips and strategies do you use to combat imposter syndrome? This is something we talk about in so many different spaces. So I feel like it's something that we can share together as a group. What are some tips and strategies you use? Yeah, Aziz.
Whenever you are in, especially a classroom, remember that if you ever feel like you're an imposter, remember everybody in that room is in your class. Either A, they could be smarter than you, but they haven't proven it, just like you have. So whenever you feel like imposter, remember that there's nobody that has proven that they're smarter than you yet because they're in that class, they're your colleagues.
Wow, yeah.
So never feel like, you've got a stupid question because you're in the class to learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes.
Think, fake it. That's even what Rihanna said. You don't feel confident. Why are you choking if you don't feel confident? They can tell. Fake it.
There you go. You better go ahead now. You throw it. Listen, I do this is my fake it walk. When I'm coming out, just okay. Because I will not let you see me on my downfall today. Today is not the day. So there you go. Anybody else want to share what tips and strategies? Yes, come on. Field of empowerment. Give us something.
It's like rationalizer. So
Mhm.
if I start to feel that way, I like to tell myself I just had a thought, it doesn't mean that it's a true thought. And then
Absolutely.
Like go through the steps that got me to like where I am. And like you kind of shared your presentation, like you had volunteer hours, you had all these other things that you've done that made you qualified. Or just because someone said something, or just because you thought something, doesn't mean that that's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stump those negative thoughts on the ground. Yes.
I would say I'm really big on like self-affirmation.
Self-affirmations.
Just getting up, telling myself like I'll take charge of my attitude, like I'm confident, I am enough.
Mhm.
Those type of affirmations that you give yourself every day, I think can really kind of combat the imposter syndrome, but more
Yeah.
so knowing that if you're going into like a networking space or something, like you're there for a reason. Like
Mhm.
everybody who's above you at that point or like have a job that you want to get to, like they have to start at the same step that you have to start at. So,
Absolutely.
just being understanding and knowing like there's a time for you and there's a space for you also is what helps.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I was gonna say like journaling. Like I know I was doing journaling for a while. Anybody else do like journaling or like maybe they put sticky notes in their mirrors or something like that? Yep, that helps a lot. I saw a hand. Was your hand up? Yeah.
This seems like a small thing, but
No.
a lot of times when I start to like doubt myself, I always think to myself like, my grandparents think I'm awesome.
Yes.
Because I can work the GPS. Like, I'm so cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, like, I have to doubt myself in this lesson because my grandparents are so much more important than
There you go. You better let them know. Absolutely. Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel empowered. Like, whoa, this is so great. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for discussing that with me. And we will move on from there. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Activity. I hope we got some blood pumping. A few questions just to talk through as a group. What was failure like in that process? What emotions did you feel as a result of falling or failing or for seeing group members fail? What about that, Destiny? What did you do? Oh, interesting. They had different rules. Did you hear that? Different rules. That's crazy. Anybody else? Becky?
So like, I feel like we took a failure as still a win. We're like, okay, it's not bad. But then also, obviously you don't want to die. It's like the best video game. You don't even get a game over. You just keep going.
Yeah, the stakes are pretty low. So it made failure feel less intimidating. Yeah. Brent, go ahead.
They gave me anxiety.
Right.
Try to make that choice like that.
Wow, that's really interesting. So as the person leading or facilitating this event, you watching people do it, knowing you have the information, but wanting to see them make that journey on their own was kind of like, oh my gosh, I just want to help and tell you what to do, but I can't. Or I know you're about to make the wrong step, even though you just made the right step one move ago. What the heck are you doing? Choose wisely. Anybody else?
I
Aziz?
felt proud. My group picked up on stuff really quickly, like really quickly.
Yes.
Once we got through the path one time, it was just like watching everybody.
It was beautiful. How many groups ended up using a piece of paper to make a map?
Woo!
Kind of. Back there, we kind of got a map. Yeah. Interesting. All right, so like we just discussed, failure is a part of the process of success in this activity. It is theoretically possible for you to succeed on the first try, but as we all saw, definitely didn't happen. So kind of knowing in your head that you were going to fail, how did that impact the collaborative process? How did that impact how you worked as a group?
I honestly feel like knowing we were gonna fail made it easier to fail. Kind of just like, oh, no big deal, next person's just gonna try again, and I'll throw their back too. And so it didn't make me feel as bad about my failures.
Interesting. Do you think you would have played differently if you failed, you were just out? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got last.
Facts.
Interesting.
I
Very,
still went last because I was worried that that's what was gonna happen, but.
right. Okay. Okay. Nicole,
For the virtual group,
Yeah.
it was a little bit rocky because of technological pieces too. But also, Uwe says it didn't really feel like I was going to fail. It more felt like I was going to learn. So like each step felt like an opportunity to learn rather than an opportunity to fail.
Interesting. Great point, Uwe. Thank you so much for sharing that. Nicole, did you have a point? Oh, you hate to hear it. You hate to hear it.
I think I was just gonna mention how like everybody was cheering and like kind of egging on, so I think that was probably my point.
Yeah, no, I told my group, you can't communicate, but affirmations are okay, right? We all want to be affirmed when we're trying things where we're like, I might fail, but if someone's cheering me on, then it doesn't feel as scary, right? As when I feel like I have the support of the people around me. What role did trust play for you in this activity? Or did it?
I think we had a lot of trust. I feel like we went like me going first, I could feel after like making a couple steps that the group trust me because they kept saying, just go again, just go again. And I was like, all right, I'll keep going. They trust me enough to do that. And once I did it enough times, we had a part. Thanks, Steve.
When you're thinking about similar situations in your life where there isn't an obvious path to success and there might be some failures along the way, why do you think trust is important in these types of environments? Is trust important in these environments?
I think you need trust to like be able to keep trying. Otherwise, you can get discouraged and trust that people like aren't going to be negative towards you or or mad or whatever. Like, empower you.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Something else too is Elliot was making a map. You guys trusted that he wasn't gonna like totally screw up the map. Who knew? Like he could just be really bad at making maps and he's over here just drawing lines every which way, like he's drawing doodling or something. So yeah, that's easy.
Ultimately, the metaphor for the game was the biggest and most important thing was taking the first step. Once you took the first step, then everything else became easy.
Yeah, true.
I feel like even myself, a lot of people assume that trust has between you and another person, but I know for me, like I have to just learn how to trust myself and be confident in myself.
Yeah, kind of that foot hovering.
Yes.
What am I
Oh,
gonna do?
you know, my foot was trying to figure out where the was gonna go next. So
Mhm.
I was like, trust myself.
Yeah. Finn?
Going off of that, I think that having like trust in your teammates also increases their trust in themselves. And so I think you're less likely to fail if you have that trust in yourself as well as like, the trust in your teammates.
Yeah, and if you do fail, the trust that you'll get it eventually, right? Like there is a solution to this and you trust your group to not just be like, screw this, I'm out and just like leave the room, right? That's not helpful for anyone and that's not going to lead to success. So there's a level of trust that keeps you in the game, that keeps you trying again. Yeah. And then what did you guys do to help your team? Or what did others do that helped you personally?
So I got in trouble a lot because I tried to cough in the right direction or full on just move my body. But I was trying to be hopeful. But so and then it wasn't just me, okay? Like we all fell into this trap. But he definitely started really like eyeing me, so I had to stop.
So what was that like trying to help someone and having that actually hurt them?
haven't even heard them.
Well, like, I mean, having them have to start over, right? Like if you help someone and then they get,
Me once, so I don't feel hurt whatsoever.
yeah, great. But then it set the process back, right? Maybe that because they didn't.
You're right, but we also, I like to think I didn't make anyone feel bad. We were always like, nope, that's okay, because now I know that I did. And we're moving on. Like,
Yeah.
it's very easygoing.
And we were happy when we said it too.
Mhm.
A lot of clapping.
Yeah, heard a lot of clapping. Good.
I think it was helpful when we went slow, when they were walking the path, even when we knew it. Just because like, I don't know, what we mentioned like spatial like that. And all the blocks look the same, so I don't know, I thought it was really helpful when I like went slow through the path. So that I could
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Go ahead, Rachel.
Having somebody, well, I mean, we had Aziz do every run through, and I think that was helpful because he didn't like hover his foot over other squares. He just kind of like shows a square, and so it's actually much easier to roll it out instead of being like, wait, where was this? Where did they actually touch down? You know, so I think that was having a confident real.
Thank you. Community service.
Any other thoughts, Destiny?
Going back to, what was the word? Trust, I think it's important because you can still make mistakes, you can still have that faith that people still believe in you.
Yeah, you still feel like you're a valued part of the team, you can still contribute, we'll all get over. Evan?
So backtrack on that is everyone makes mistakes. I guarantee you in the first round, not one person like got through it all the way. So everyone had to stay. Learn from it, grow from it.
Right.
You ultimately succeed.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the first person didn't mistake and you were like, just get in the back of the line, you moron, you're embarrassing us. Like, no, that's not what happened. Unless it was, in which case, come see me afterwards. Aziz.
You said something super important. I realized that we did. We had defining roles right at the beginning. After like 2 or 3 mistakes, the first thing we went was like, let's define roles, and then everything became smooth.
Yeah, you had your math guy, you had your try guy. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Katie?
explain that I thought we should like make a pattern where when you're trying to do square, we go in like a circle or go in order so I can remember what's been tried and what hasn't. I don't really explain that very well when I tried to say that. And then Sam said it again, a little bit louder, a little bit clearer, and I appreciated that because it just made me feel good to like understand what I was trying to say and agree with me a little bit more authoritatively said.
Yeah. Awesome. So what I'm hearing, actually, this is crazy, is so much of this stuff, which is awesome, right? Like strong communication, sharing power, feeling valued, comfort, collaboration, support within the group, clearly defined goals. Like it wasn't really helpful when my group was like, oh, we're going to do this thing. And then I was like, haha, you can't do that thing. They're like, why didn't you tell me before? Because I forgot to tell them before. That was on me. So I hope that was a helpful activity. Hope you can bring it back to your friends. Think about what the walks of peril in your own life are. Be willing, as Trey told us so eloquently, that failure is a part of success, right? So whether it's a silly grid game on the floor, or it's your classes or your work or life or whatever, be willing to take those mistakes or failures as an opportunity to learn. So yeah, cool. Thanks, guys.